For those who've been following along, we did make it to Malaga. Malaga is a beautiful southern Spanish seaport with a bustling cruise ship industry and oil tankers. Our first stop was to catch the number 35 bus and head up to the Gibralfaro. The Gibralfaro has been a fort since first built by the Phoenicians in 770 BC. Now they bust them up, and you can get the tour guide on your iPhone. Mary's doing that right now. To get a better view of Malaga, which the fort overlooks, you have to climb a few stairs. They're reasonably steep, and you wouldn't want to fall. Mary was very cautious on the way up, but once you got there, you got this view. This coconut tree was very interesting, as were the soldiers from different eras. Mary was very interested in this fellow. The jail had a very interesting view. We took a stroll through the rest of the castle, didn't stop at the restaurant, but did use the bagnio right next door. The bullring was visible from our walk down to the Alcazaba, as was the Malaga City Hall. After numerous stops, we finally did arrive at the Alcazaba. Let's ask these people if they'd like to be in the movie.
Señor, ¿le gustaría estar en una película?
They just ignored me, so we continued on to the Jardins de Puerto Oscura. The next day it was off to the Picasso House Museum. On the way there, Mary learnt about Roma women and rosemary sprigs. Never a good idea to take your money out. She also got the tour guide on her phone. It started with a portrait of a sister from 1896, juxtaposed with a bronze called The Child from 1960. From 1906 to 1921, Picasso collected African sculpture. His own output was influenced by this collection. Picasso said, "We all know art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize the truth." He felt that philosophy explained creating cubism as an artificial construct. Picasso used Cubism, Classicism, and Surrealism for women in a red armchair. He said, "I have not painted the war, but I am sure the war is in these paintings." Both the Second World War and the Spanish Civil War played heavily on his output. He painted the deprivations of everyday life for average citizens rather than glorifying battle. The Greeks introduced ceramics to Malaga. In 1947, Picasso started his explorations in ceramics. In 1973, Picasso organized a showing of his works he had produced from 1970 to 1973. It opened 6 weeks after his death. These 6 paintings were in that exhibition. What other magic would be in store for us? Well, it was a film and exhibition by Joel Meyerowitz, a photographer whose work we had first seen in Vienna. Then it was off to the courtyard for Café con Leche. Tourists have been flocking to the Plaza de Aduana to check out the birds, get directions on their iPhones, and be distracted by some fire jugglers. And a monument.
¿Viste este ejemplo? Ciudadanos antes morir que sentirse tiranos.
Y aquí están esos perros. Buenas tardes de la Plaza de la Aduana. Later that day, Mary went to Tai Chi while I took a stroll through Parque Hulen. Muchos perros en esta isla.
Parque Hulen es un parque del Ayuntamiento de Malaga.
I think it was a bit more if you wanted the Art Deco balconies. Or the blue roofs. The next morning it was off to Granada and the Alhambra.
Tenemos también el centro. En el centro podéis ver la catedral nunca terminada, aunque era en plano ser una de las más grandes, más importantes. Iba a ser también el sitio donde iban a después a descansar los reyes después de su muerte, y la construcción empezó con el
As we stopped for coffee at a local cafe, somebody spilt my expensive café con leche. Was it this woman? No matter. Granada is described as a city of fountains. And boy, were there an awful lot of fountains everywhere. It was October 16th, and we even found La Fuente del Desierto de Octubre and Europe's oldest hotel. Built between 1300 and 1332, this hotel still operates as a hotel. The courtyard is open to visitors. Let's see what they think about it. Built in 1300, do you think they've renovated the rooms at all? I don't know. Think they've added a baño? Or do you have to come down? Do you have to come down here for a bath? Comimos un delicioso almuerzo en un café local y luego más fuente. This gentleman used a team of dogs to propel his wheelchair. The library was once a casino, and then a ballroom before being converted to a library. Just behind it was a Roman bridge and a very fancy mosaic tile sidewalk. One more fountain, and it was back on the bus to go to the Alhambra. The Alhambra is one of the most famous monuments of Islamic architecture and one of the best preserved palaces of the historic Islamic world. Construction started in 1238, and it was an Islamic fortress. Later, it became the royal court of Ferdinand and Isabella, where Columbus received his endorsement for his expedition. It was destroyed by Napoleon's troops in 1812 and sat in disrepair until it came to the world's attention through Washington Irving's book, Tales of the Alhambra. Speaking of tales, what are these people gathering for? Is there something going on? Are these people looking at something special? Doesn't seem to be anything here. Well, there's the reason. There she is. I don't believe that the cell tower disguised as a cross is original. Much of the scroll work was done using plaster and stencils. The gardens were immaculate, as were the mosaics. Our tour guide pointed out that they also spent a lot of effort decorating the ceilings. I'm thinking of installing a footbath in my next abode. The reflecting pool was fabulous. Mary got a really nice shot with her iPad. I took a bit more time with my camera and took a whole series of shots. Just above the reflecting pool was the wives' quarters with the window looking down, while the concubines' room had direct access to the reflecting pool. A short walk away and you were in the interior courtyard. This part of the Alhambra was built in about the year 1200, and they had figured out how to earthquake-proof the building by using lead in the columns. The lead rings were softer than the rock surrounding it and absorbed the impact of the earthquake. Another fountain, this one with lions guarding it. As well as the fancy artwork, the Alhambra had a strategic military position. Moorish stained art relies on design rather than religious representation. The religious representation is on the walls with writings from the Koran. What's this, another fountain? El agua en esta fuente no es potable. Meanwhile, outside, Mary was on the lookout for pomegranate thieves. Was he eyeing taking a truckload home? I was happy to just pose in front of him. The sculptured hedges were interesting, as was the dry moat. Time for a quick coffee in the cafe at the Alhambra, but the tour was over. Back on the bus, back to our B&B, and on to our next series of adventures. Stay tuned.